Imagine this. You're walking down a busy street, the world moving around you, yet something feels strange. You pass by people, their faces familiar, yet in that fleeting moment, they seem like strangers. As you glance into the windows of stores, the reflections that stare back at you feel like fragments of someone else's life, not yours. You stop, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, when did I lose control? How many times in your life have you made decisions that weren't truly yours? How many times have you felt like the world was pulling strings, pushing you toward choices that don't feel right, that don't align with who you are? These subtle, insidious forces shape your every thought, every reaction, every belief, and you might not even realize they're there. But here's the paradox. The more you think you're in control, the less you really are. Have you ever wondered how easily you can be manipulated without even knowing it? Not just by others, but by the very thoughts you hold about yourself and the world around you. It's not a matter of weakness or ignorance. This is the human condition, shaped by deep psychological and social forces that, once understood, offer you a powerful weapon, a weapon that, when wielded correctly, can alter your reality, break free from invisible chains, and reclaim the control you thought you lost. So, let me ask you this. What if you could manipulate these forces to your advantage? What if you could learn the secrets of the mind, how it works, how it deceives, and how to turn those very tricks to your benefit? In a world where we believe that rational thought is king, we're blind to the fact that most of our decisions, our deepest desires, our fears, our compulsions, are shaped by forces beyond our awareness. It's not just about personal willpower. It's about understanding the machinery of your mind, how it's wired to respond to certain triggers, and how to use those triggers to reshape your reality. But here's the terrifying part. What if everything you've been taught about free will, about personal autonomy, about choice, is a lie? What if instead of being free, we're all operating on autopilot, guided by invisible strings, pulled by forces we don't understand? This is the hidden, uncomfortable truth about the human psyche. The majority of what you think you know about yourself, about the world, is based on psychological tricks that can be used to manipulate you into acting in ways you don't even realize. And yet, once you see them, you can break free. You can master the tricks, bend them to your will, and create your own destiny. Now, imagine that you could tap into this hidden power. You could understand the psychological tricks used on you every day and use them to shift your entire worldview. What would that feel like? What would it mean for your life, your relationships, your career? The question is simple, but its implications are profound. What if you could unlock the secrets to dark psychology and use them to transform your life? But don't get too comfortable, because once you step into this world, there's no going back. The rules you thought you knew about yourself, about others, about power, they'll begin to unravel before your eyes. And the reality you thought you understood, it's not what it seems. Let's begin uncovering the first of these powerful psychological tricks. What is it about the human mind that makes us so vulnerable and yet so capable of extraordinary power once we understand how to wield it? Keep reading, and you'll discover not just how these forces control you, but how you can take control of them. Are you ready to see the world through a completely different lens? The hidden problem and its psychological, philosophical roots. As you continue your journey into this labyrinth of the human psyche, the first thing you must realize is this: the forces that shape our thoughts, our actions, and our very sense of self are far deeper than we ever imagined. These forces are not just the product of our upbringing or our environment, but of something much more profound: the hidden layers of the unconscious mind. We all believe that we make decisions based on reason, that we control our thoughts and actions with a sense of autonomy. Yet, if you dig deeper, you'll find that the truth is far more unsettling. The majority of what you think you know about yourself is not actually of your own making. You are not the master of your own mind. Your mind is a battleground, constantly swayed by hidden forces that you cannot see, let alone control. At the heart of this battle is the unconscious, those dark recesses of the mind where deep-seated fears, desires, and beliefs lie dormant, shaping every thought and every decision you make. These hidden forces are like puppet strings, pulling at your beliefs, nudging you in directions you don't even realize are being directed by something outside of your own will. Think about Carl Jung's concept of the shadow. Jung believed that the parts of ourselves that we suppress, the parts we don't want to face, are precisely the parts that hold the key to our hidden power. Our shadow is the unconscious storehouse of all the traits, desires, and impulses that society has deemed undesirable. But these traits don't disappear. Instead, they lurk beneath the surface, controlling us in ways we don't fully understand. When we try to suppress these parts of ourselves, they only grow stronger, influencing us in covert ways. These are the parts of ourselves we avoid looking at, but the truth is, they are there, influencing every decision, every action, and every relationship. The more you ignore your shadow, the more it controls you. And here's the rub. It's not just the shadow of the individual, but the collective shadow that shapes the culture and society you live in. This brings us to a more philosophical dimension, one explored by Friedrich Nietzsche in his concept of the will to power. Nietzsche believed that beneath our consciousness lies an unconscious force, a drive for mastery, dominance, and growth. This force is constantly pushing us to act in ways that align with our deepest desires for power, even if we don't recognize it. The modern world, with its emphasis on rationality, tries to suppress this primal drive, forcing people into societal molds that strip them of their autonomy. The result, we feel powerless, disconnected from the very essence of our being. But what if this power wasn't something to be ashamed of? What if, instead of trying to repress it, we embraced it? What if we could use this primal drive, the will to power, not just to survive, but to thrive, to take control of our lives and reshape the world around us according to our desires? The problem, however, is that we don't have access to this power unless we first acknowledge it. It's like a dormant force inside us that only awakens when we confront the unconscious patterns that dictate our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. The hidden problem lies in our inability to recognize how deeply these forces have shaped us, leaving us ignorant of the true source of our strength. Yet, the more we remain unaware of this power, the more it controls us. This is where the psychological trap lies. The very structures of society, the norms, the values, the expectations, are built on these hidden forces. They shape our identities, our relationships, and our sense of purpose. They shape who we think we are and who we believe we should be. And because we are unaware of the strings pulling us, we don't realize that we are being manipulated into playing out a script that was never written by us. Jean-Paul Sartre spoke of the concept of bad faith, living in self-deception, where we lie to ourselves about who we are and what we want, all while conforming to the roles society has assigned us. This self-deception prevents us from achieving true freedom. Instead of embracing our authentic selves, we live according to a fabricated identity, a mask we wear to fit in, to be accepted, to avoid facing the uncomfortable truth about our own desires. This brings us to a critical juncture. We are trapped in a psychological game where we believe we are free, but in reality, we are being manipulated by forces we cannot even see. The question becomes, what if we could break free from this psychological prison? What if we could uncover the truth that has been hidden from us? conscious, and in doing so, reclaim our true power. You may feel the weight of this realization settling in. The forces that have shaped your beliefs and actions are not random. They have been carefully crafted over time. Society, your upbringing, your fears, these all work together to construct the person you think you are. But what if you could tear down that facade, expose the hidden forces at play, and use them to reshape your own reality? Now that you understand the root of the problem, the unconscious forces that shape your identity and actions, let's dive deeper into how these forces subtly shape your reality in ways you may not yet fully comprehend. But be warned, once you see how they operate, you can never look at the world in the same way again. The hidden forces are waiting to be uncovered. Let's continue to peel back the layers and discover the true power behind them. The unseen consequences. Now that you've begun to glimpse the hidden forces shaping your life, let's delve deeper into the subtle consequences these forces have on your daily existence. They don't announce their presence with loud cries or warning signs. They creep in silently, affecting you in ways you don't even notice until it's too late. First, let's talk about cognitive biases. These mental shortcuts are not some unfortunate flaw in human reasoning, but rather, they are built into the very structure of our brains. Evolutionarily speaking, they served a vital purpose, helping our ancestors make quick decisions in a world full of danger. But in the modern age, they have morphed into silent, unseen forces that dictate how we interpret the world around us, often leading us astray. Take, for instance, the confirmation bias. This is one of the most insidious cognitive biases at play. It's the reason you might find yourself stubbornly holding on to beliefs that no longer serve you. It's why you can read an article that contradicts your worldview, yet you'll find yourself dismissing it without a second thought, seeking out only information that confirms what you already believe to be true. Confirmation bias feeds into your existing beliefs and filters out anything that might challenge your deeply ingrained views. But here's the twist. It's not just your own biases that affect your thoughts. It's also the collective biases of society, embedded in culture, media, and social dynamics. We are constantly surrounded by narratives and ideas that shape the way we see the world. These cultural biases are deeply woven into the fabric of our identity, and they influence everything from the way we form relationships to the way we make decisions in our careers and personal lives. Consider the bandwagon effect, where we are more likely to adopt beliefs and behaviors simply because they are popular. It's a form of social conformity, an unspoken pressure that causes us to align ourselves with the majority, even if it means compromising our personal values. This unconscious adherence to societal norms is pervasive. It dictates our fashion choices, our political beliefs, and even our relationships without realizing it. We often conform to these biases because it feels safer to be in the majority than to stand apart. But let's look at this more closely. How much of your identity is truly your own? How many of your decisions are truly reflective of your authentic desires and values? The social conditioning is so pervasive, so embedded in every facet of life, that we often don't realize how deeply it has infiltrated our subconscious. In addition to cognitive biases, we have the impact of neuroscience and how it ties into the way our minds operate. Neuroscience shows that our brains are wired for reward seeking. We gravitate toward things that make us feel good, dopamine hits, pleasure, instant gratification. And because these dopamine-driven behaviors are so hardwired into us, they end up creating what psychologists refer to as addiction loops. Consider the way social media operates. It's designed to give you small dopamine-driven rewards in the form of likes, comments, and shares. In this modern age, it's not just the addictive quality of social media that's a problem. It's the way it reinforces certain social patterns, When you look at your social media feed, you are being bombarded with filtered images of other people's lives, often the best parts, the most glamorous, the most idealized. These constant comparisons leave you feeling like you're missing out, leading to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. You're chasing a perfection that doesn't exist, and with every scroll, you unknowingly fall deeper into the trap of comparison and validation. But the harm goes beyond mere self-esteem issues. It shapes your entire worldview. You begin to believe that your worth is determined by external validation, by the number of followers you have, by the likes on your photos, or by how others perceive you. You lose touch with who you truly are, and instead become obsessed with a self-image that may not even be real. This is the result of living in a world that prioritizes surface-level appearances over authenticity, and it's a dangerous cycle that feeds into the unseen consequences of societal pressure. Now think about the psychological concept of learned helplessness, first observed by psychologist Martin Seligman. This occurs when someone perceives themselves as powerless to change their situation, even when opportunities to change do exist. The experience of repeated failure, rejection, or mistreatment leads them to stop trying altogether. They believe that nothing they do will make a difference. In the modern world, this learned helplessness manifests in many forms, whether it's in the workplace, in relationships, or in personal growth. You may find yourself thinking, what's the point when it comes to trying something new or pursuing your dreams? It's easy to convince yourself that you're stuck in your current circumstances because you've been conditioned to believe that change is impossible. This mindset holds you captive, robbing you of your ability to shape your own destiny. But perhaps the most dangerous consequence of all is the loss of agency. The more you fall into these traps, the more you allow these biases, these societal forces, and your unconscious patterns to rule your life, the more you feel disconnected from the true self, the person you once dreamed of becoming. You lose sight of your potential, of your power to affect change in your own life and the world around you. Your dreams become distant, your actions become automatic, and you are left wondering where the spark of your true self went. This is where the hidden consequences lie. They are not immediate. They don't announce themselves with loud alarms or clear signs. They are the slow, subtle erosion of your freedom, your creativity, and your true sense of self. Every day, you are unconsciously shaped by these forces, losing yourself more and more in the process. But what if you could reverse it? What if you could recognize the biases, the conditioning, the patterns, and break free? What if you could regain control of your thoughts, your choices, and ultimately, your life? This realization is the key, but it requires a shift in perspective. It requires you to confront the hidden consequences, to see the traps you've been falling into, and finally, to make a choice, to break free, or to remain a prisoner of your own mind. In the next section, we'll explore how you can do just that, how you can reclaim control by challenging everything you thought you knew about your reality. It's time to break the cycle and step into a new way of thinking. Are you ready for that shift? The answer lies within you, but it won't be easy. The road ahead is not for the faint of heart, but it is the only road that leads to true freedom. The rebellion, how to break free. You've seen the forces at play, the unconscious biases, the social conditioning, the addictive patterns that slowly erode your sense of self. The question now becomes, how do you break free from this prison of your own making? The answer is not as simple as just choosing to change. It's not about willpower or white-knuckling your way through life with sheer determination. No, the rebellion requires something deeper, more radical. It requires a complete shift in perspective, a fundamental reworking of how you see yourself, how you see the world, and how you understand your role within it. The first step in this rebellion is understanding the core of your power, the the choice to reclaim your autonomy. We often forget that we have the ability to choose our responses, our beliefs, and our actions. But the only way to access that power is to confront the assumptions we've been living with. Consider Viktor Frankl's idea of logotherapy, the search for meaning, even in the most difficult and oppressive of circumstances. Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, realized that while we may not have control over our external circumstances, we always have control over how we respond to them. He famously said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." This realization that we always have the space to choose is the foundation of your rebellion. It's about stepping outside the automatic responses that have governed your life and taking back control over your decisions, no matter how small they may seem. But how do you cultivate this awareness of choice? How do you begin to step out of the autopilot mode that's been running your life for so long? The first step is through mindfulness. Mindfulness allows you to slow down, to observe your thoughts and reactions, and to see them for what they are: automatic patterns shaped by years of conditioning. By cultivating mindfulness, you can begin to step back and gain the distance necessary to break free from these patterns. You stop being a passive participant in your life and start becoming an active one. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're in the middle of an argument with someone. You feel your heart rate rising, your thoughts racing, and your emotions are starting to spiral. In that moment, you have a choice. You can either allow the emotional current to carry you away, reacting automatically as you always have, or you can pause, step back, and become an observer. You can ask yourself, what am I truly feeling? What do I really want here? This shift from reactive to responsive thinking gives you the power to reclaim control. It's the difference between being swept away by the storm and standing firm in the middle of it, calmly watching the chaos unfold without being dragged into it. But breaking free isn't just about internal change. It's about external action too. It's about finding the courage to challenge societal norms, to push against the grain, and to take risks that align with your true desires. For many, this is the hardest part, the part where you step out of your comfort zone and face the fear of rejection, judgment, or failure. Think about the rebels throughout history, the ones who dared to defy societal expectations and pursue what they believed was true and just. Figures like Socrates, who was sentenced to death for questioning the status quo, or Galileo, who risked his life to challenge the church's view of the cosmos. They didn't play by the rules. They didn't conform to the beliefs of their time, and in doing so, they forever changed the world. So what's your rebellion? What is it that you believe is worth risking everything for? It doesn't have to be as monumental as changing the course of history. Your rebellion can be personal. Something as simple as choosing to live authentically in a world that demands conformity. It can be standing up for yourself in a relationship, pursuing your passion despite the fears that hold you back, or challenging a belief system that no longer serves you. The key to this rebellion is intention. You need to set a clear, conscious intention to break free from the chains of your conditioning and live according to your true values. This means questioning everything: your beliefs, your fears, your choices, and actively choosing the path that aligns with who you are, not who you've been told to be. One powerful tool in this journey is the concept of counterintuitive thinking. It's about doing the opposite of what your conditioned mind urges you to do. If you've spent your life avoiding confrontation, perhaps your rebellion is to confront a difficult conversation head-on. If you've been a people pleaser, maybe your rebellion is saying no for the first time. Counterintuitive actions disrupt your old patterns and send a shockwave through the neural circuits that have kept you locked in place. Think about how deeply your mind is conditioned by the fear of failure. The paradox here is that true growth, true freedom, only comes from embracing failure. It's only when you step out of your comfort zone and make mistakes that you learn to expand, to grow, to reshape your identity. This is why history's greatest rebels were willing to fail, even risk everything, in pursuit of their truth. They knew that the alternative, living in the cage of conformity and fear, was a fate far worse than any failure. But don't be fooled into thinking that this process is a one-time act. It's a daily commitment to challenging the automatic responses, the biases, and the societal norms that hold you back. The rebellion doesn't end once you've had a breakthrough. It continues with every conscious choice you make. So here's your challenge. Begin today. Start with small, deliberate actions that break free from your automatic reactions. Whether it's changing a pattern of thought, confronting a fear, or making a decision that goes against the grain, each act of rebellion chips away at the chains that bind you. The true power lies in reclaiming your ability to choose, and to choose authentically, without the unseen forces that have been controlling you. Once you do that, the next section will reveal something even more profound, the ultimate truth that awaits those brave enough to break free. Are you ready to take the next step in this rebellion? If so, prepare yourself for the most profound realization of all, the final truth that will forever change your perspective on reality itself. The ultimate truth, the final, most powerful realization. Now that you've confronted the unconscious biases, the societal pressures, and the addictive cycles that have held you captive, there is one final truth, an ultimate revelation that will forever alter the way you see yourself and the world around you. This is the moment where everything clicks into place, where all the pieces of the puzzle come together in a powerful, life-changing insight. Here's the truth. The greatest illusion you've been living under is that you are separate from the world around you. At first glance, this might sound nonsensical, even impossible. After all, you are an individual, distinct from everyone else. You have your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own body. But here's the key: your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs, everything that defines you, are not as independent and isolated as you've been led to believe. This is where the concept of interconnectedness comes into play. And while this may sound like a philosophical abstraction, it's not. It's an observable, scientific fact. All your thoughts, emotions, and decisions are deeply influenced by everything around you. You're not just a passive recipient of experiences. You are actively shaped by them in ways you can't even see. Consider the concept of mirror neurons, a discovery in neuroscience that reveals how your brain reflects the actions, emotions, and behaviors of others. In short, your mind constantly mimics the people around you. This is why you might start feeling anxious when someone next to you is anxious, or why you might smile when you see someone else smile. It's a fundamental neurological process that connects you to the emotions and experiences of others in an almost invisible way. But here's the thing: these connections don't just stop at the people around you. They extend to the entire world. The media you consume, the culture you are steeped in, the very environment you live in, these all shape your thoughts and your sense of self. Everything around you is a mirror, reflecting and molding who you are. And you, without even knowing it, have become a reflection of the world's influences. But why does this matter? Why does it matter that your thoughts and experiences are not entirely your own? Because this truth, once recognized, unlocks the most powerful realization of all. You are not just a product of your environment. You have the power to shape your environment in return. The great paradox of the human experience is this: we believe that we are separate individuals, struggling alone against a world that oppresses and controls us. But the reality is that the world, our collective consciousness, our shared beliefs, our cultural norms, is not something external, it is us. And the moment we recognize that we are not separate from it, we realize that we hold the power to reshape it. This revelation is what gives you the ability to break free from the cycle of manipulation and control, because you are not simply a passive participant in the world's dramas. You are an active creator of your own reality. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, they influence the world in ways you can't always see, but they shape the world nonetheless. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And what Jung meant by this was not just the discovery of your inner self, but the realization that once you understand the true nature of your being, you can begin to mold and shape your life. You are no longer at the mercy of forces beyond your control. Instead, you become the architect of your own fate. So what does this all mean for you? It means that you are no longer a passive victim of your environment, of society, or of the forces you've been conditioned to obey. You are free to choose how you respond to the world. And by recognizing your interconnectedness, you understand that you are not isolated. You are part of a larger whole, and in that recognition you find your power. This realization, this moment of understanding, takes you beyond mere self-improvement. It's not just about changing a few habits or adopting a new mindset. It's about rewiring your very relationship to the world. It's about realizing that your thoughts and beliefs are not fixed truths. They are fluid, malleable, and influenced by your actions and decisions. Once you understand this, you no longer live in fear of failure, judgment, or rejection. You no longer feel small or powerless in the face of society's expectations. You see the world as a canvas, and you are the artist with the power to paint it however you choose. And here lies the ultimate truth: the power to break free, to reshape your life, to change your world, is within you. This is the most powerful realization of all, and once you embrace it, your entire worldview shifts. The illusions fade away, and you stand tall in your newfound power, ready to claim your place in the world, not as a puppet to be controlled, but as the master of your own fate. The journey doesn't end here, it's only just begun. Once you've unlocked this truth, the real work starts. Every day is an opportunity to reinforce this understanding and step further into the life you are meant to create. You are no longer at the mercy of external forces. You are free to choose, to grow, and to shape your reality in ways you never thought possible. So what will you do with this power? Will you embrace the freedom to shape your world, or will you allow the world to continue shaping you? The choice is yours, and it always has been. But now, you see it for what it truly is. In the end, the most profound realization is that freedom is not something you find outside yourself. It is something you create from within. And with that realization, you step into the infinite potential that awaits you. And that's a wrap on today's journey. You've unlocked the hidden forces that shape your life, and you now hold the keys to break free and reclaim your true power. The ball is in your court. How will you use this newfound freedom? The path to a life of authenticity and control is just beginning, and it's yours to walk. If you found this video helpful and insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're just getting started on uncovering the deeper truths of life. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update, and let's keep this conversation going. In the comments section, drop any aspect of your life that you find difficult or feel stuck in. Let's talk about it together, because the first step to breaking free is acknowledging where we're struggling, and I'm here to help guide you through it. Thank you for watching, and remember, you have the power to change your life. Now, it's time to use it.